Hello, my name is VSin, and this is a snapshot of Conception 2 Children of the Seven Stars. Now, this game came out on April the 15th, 2014 for the PlayStation Vita and 3DS. At least the localized version came out. And this is a... well, it's supposed to be an SRPG dating sim sort of game. OU Japan, I guess you could say. Here's my playtime so far, 11 hours. Not too bad. Oops. There we go. And, so far, I have a little bit of difficulty giving an objective opinion on this game. That's the problem. Because I took a look at it a week ago, put it down, had to do some stuff for a few days, otherwise this video would have come out a lot sooner. Then picked it up again, played it some more, and I can't really sort out what I want to think about this. So, first things first, there are a crap ton of menus here. I'm going to try and boil it down. Let's go to the dorm room first and just get some busy work out of the way. System options. Honestly, not too much here. I just want to get it out of the way. It's message speed, fast forward. Auto fast forward in this case is mostly for dialogue, whether or not you want to skip it all. Anything else? Separate audio sliders, map rotation. That is for in the dungeon. In the dungeon, there is a mini map if you want it to rotate or if you want it to stay static. That's up to you. Defaults and save changes. For some reason, there is that thing on the left side of the screen, event text sound battle. I don't know why that's there when it doesn't do anything. However, what I really want to care about, database and tutorial are what you'd expect, is, let's see here. Item is use different items. Skills is show what skill, use skills. That only applies in dungeons mostly. Equipment is assign equipment. The only thing of note here is that you have best and team best. Makes it much easier to quickly equip everyone since you do have 11 party members at any given moment. Also, you will be constantly cycling in and out of your party members, so whatever. That is extremely helpful. Costume. These are unlocked, I believe, as a progression of the story, although there might be DLC for it. If you want fan service, then, for example, you have the battle suit. Well, I mean, your main character has multiple options here. Battlesuit uniform. Right now, in terms of fan service, which is what I was going to get to, you have something like, yeah, you can stick your waifu into a swimsuit and then battle with that. These will only show up during battle. They don't affect anything in the in-between scenes. Let's see, what else did I miss here? Tactics. Tactics, I would probably be better off showing this in the dungeon, but tactics are for auto battle. When you auto battle, what do you want the AI to do? Full force is maximum damage at all times. Just it will do as much damage as humanly possible. This will also mean a lot of overkill and wasted MP, but that's beyond the point. Chain focus is there's a special mechanic in the battle system called chain. You accomplish it and it has various effects. I'll go into that in battle. Save MP is just don't use MP whenever possible. No skills is don't use skills. Heal focus is similar to save MP, only you will heal when someone is below like 50-40% HP, basically. Support focus is use buffs and debuffs. That is actually kind of an important menu, though, because you will be using it quite a bit. And rest. Now, let's start getting into the meat and potatoes of this. I'm going to rest right now. What you want to pay attention to are those 3 gray hearts in the top left corner. Rest and progress time. You know what happened? All it did was it filled the 3 hearts in the top left corner. This boils down to one of my first gripes, because let's go over to the Academy. Academy is basically where you just look up heroine events. These will increase your relationship with the heroine. Increasing the relationship increases the power level of Star Children, to summarize, basically. So these 7 in this... I hate this menu. These 7 girls in this section here, those are the heroines that you will be dating. Let's be real, this is a dating sim type mechanic. Also, you really want to be pressing triangle so you can see all this data, because then you will be able to determine a bunch of different things. Looking, for example, at Ellie's window on the right side. The stat distribution basically doesn't change. Over time, they will gain more stats. You can see the level listed is level 14. Defense element type is fire. But this distribution doesn't actually change over time. What it basically means is green is average to slightly above, slightly below average. Blue is specialty. Red is really crappy. So in this case, Ellie's really crappy at attack, but it has really high magic defense. The other stat that you want to look at is where you can see the smiley face. There's the smiley face itself, as well as those bars around the smiley face. But the bars represent, and why this menu is important, is because it represents how far along the character's story you are. This is also displayed in the church, this particular window, but for some strange reason, it's normally hidden. I don't know why they do that, and I don't know why the most important part of this window being, you know, how far along you are in the story, so you can tell how far along you are in the story, is obfuscated into a tiny circle you can barely see. Let's go to, I don't know, Feeney. And I guess it will be a spoiler, but oh well, nothing too important.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Huh?
Exactly.
Hmm?
Huh?
I see.
In this case, this is more of a generic event. After you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, you can do this. You can also give a gift. I have no idea what she likes, but whatever. Blah, da, 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 da. Let's try marble candy, because she mentioned candies. Here's a candy, yay.
Thank you so very much.
Oh, neutral response. Also, some really random, very tiny gripe I'd like to point out is pay attention to her eyebrows as well as that hairband. If you look really closely and assuming I encoded this properly, you'll be able to notice that this game is actually running this particular 3D at subsample. I'm not sure why that's the case, because battles are at native res, menus are at native res, 2D is at native res, but this particular 3D close-up is subsampled, and I have no idea why that's the case. Is it loading times or some crap? I don't know. Either way, it's a tiny gripe. Anyways, you just pick an option.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'll just blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Yay.
No.
Chat. You can notice how enthusiastic I am about this part of the game.
Exactly.
And thing is that the stories themselves aren't that bad. At times, the relationship stories can be a bit generic, but that's okay. The problem, though, is that you will get into a sense of grinding this. Here, let me explain. You can see in the top left corner the 3 hearts there. I mentioned this earlier. Now one is gray because I've expended it. Now, if you're not someone who's played a dating sim type of game before, normally those 3 hearts in the top left corner signify that at this point in time you can perform 3 events and then you have to cycle the story or something like that. Problem is, in this game that doesn't exist. Back to the dorm room. Rest. And they're full again, with no consequences whatsoever. I mean, why? Why would you design your game like this? Okay, I am one of the suckers who would love a good dating sim style game. I'm going to be completely open about this. This game likes to pander to people like me, and I openly admit that. But they completely compromise the relationship aspect, because those 3 hearts in the top left corner are a sham. They don't exist. All you have to do is press a couple of buttons and they automatically reset. Also, you can go into a labyrinth. There's that too. It's just like... Anyways, if you notice in the bottom left corner, there is the bond points bar. That tells you how many bond points you are. Yay. What those are for 2 things. Classmating, as well as some extra moves you can do in battle. So let's go over the classmating. Now, a couple things, first of all. You can see here with Fuko, since I've gone nowhere with her relationship, she just has the regularness. Whereas when I go over to Feeney, who I was just talking to, you can see tri-mating. Tri-mating is unlocked after a certain point of the story. yet for some reason it has no screen prompt, and if you forget what the prompt is, then you better look up the tutorial. Again, this is one of those weird design decisions. You press triangle here, and then afterwards you pick another partner who has high enough of a relationship level. So in this case, I've only got Nautica and Ellie. Or you can just press B and pick. So let's go with Ellie. Sure, why not? After this, you pick a Matroshka, I think. That's what it's supposed to be called. It's probably a Russian word. These special Matroshkas, they're found in dungeons. Maybe they can be bought later on in the game. I don't know, but so far I can only find them in dungeons. I'll just pick the regular because I don't like using the specials. There we go. Occasionally, when you get to a certain point in someone's relationship, you'll get one of these little scenes here, where it's like, okay, chat, as well as all the sexual innuendo you can possibly come up with. Yes, I'm also talking over the dialogue. Oddly enough, your main character doesn't actually say anything, and I don't know. I don't, like, just, you say, huh? And then the other character actually voice acts the whole thing. Maybe it's a good thing because it's supposed to be a representation of you, but...
You check it during the ritual. I think that's alright.
Anyways, yeah.
I'll tell you how you can do it once we get started.
Got it.
Please be gentle.
Yay, sexuality. Yay, totally not sex cutscene. As in, like, it's more of a not sex in the sense that they just touched each other's hands, but come on, this is completely trying to be erotic. Either way, yay, I'm the crowd that is pandering to, so I don't really give a damn. Anyways, once you get into this window, you get to pick your child's job. These are the ones I have unlocked so far. Bondsman is one of the more recent ones, but whatever. Basically, what you need here is, if you look on the right side of the screen, just to scroll through this really fast, you can see that these various classes require a certain stat distribution in order to be unlocked. If I'm not mistaken, these, you can see the stats are attack 55, for example. That's the that's how much I have. Whereas, if, for example, if I go to Lancer, it says I am short 4 defense on that character. I believe this is directly proportional to character level, so if you level her up, eventually she will be able, on her own, to have Lancer Star Children. But beyond that point, this is basically, certain characters have certain Star Children. You can Tri-Mate, which will bypass quite a few of these requirements. So let's just make a Magic Knight, because why not? Also, you can see the outline color is red. Shoot. I'll just get my genders right. I believe red means female, blue is for males. In this case, you can also name entry, but I've honestly found the name entry system to be kind of pointless. Like, actually pointless. As in, I've found no reason to name these children, because we'll be cycling through so many of them. I'm just going to press random name, Cammy, sure. Confirm. You get this little animation. Yay. You can also skip past it by pressing X, but I'll show you the whole thing. And then afterwards, you will get some random bonus from the child. In this case, the BP cost is 25% off. Like, yay. Also, you can occasionally get multiple star children from a single iteration. And yay, more innuendo.
Definitely.
Don't say it like that. I didn't think you were really gonna do it, so I got even more flustered. But I'm not embarrassed. It was part of the ritual. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Really? I see. I may be tiny, but for you, I'm still... Is it size after all?
Hmm?
Nothing. I got a little carried away. I'm sorry. You acted embarrassed, so I got embarrassed too. I'll make sure not to be so embarrassed next time. I'll be okay as long as I'm with you.
So yeah, that's basically that. I'm not sure how else I'm going to explain it. Also, let's go back to the dorm again. What we need to take a look at here is character levels. In this case, the main character as well as all of the heroines have a level cap of 99. However, when we go into here, you can see, for example, that this Lancer Aria, her level cap, you can see level in the top left corner, level 31 out of 32. That means her level cap, this Star Child's level cap is 32. When you hit the level cap, what are you supposed to do? In many cases, you discard the child. You see this independence option. I'm just going to give independence to Ein. Ein. Because why not? So I'm just going to give independence. You can make any child independent at any given moment. What this will do is they'll leave the party and increase your city level. City level, what that does is it normally will increase, in at least early city levels will give you access to more facilities. Later city levels will increase what those facilities do. For example, it'll put more items into the shop. It'll give you a greater variety of quests and whatnot. What is the point of this? Well, because when you hit the level cap and your level is lower than what the dungeon requires, you will get horribly murdered. That's just what happens. So you're going to have to continuously cycle between your various star children. Also, you can see that Alicia here has level 32 of 99, even though everyone else has a lower level cap. If you go all the way down to the bottom, you can see Cammy that we just made is 1 of 41, one of the more recent ones, yet I got a level 99. This is a genius proc, for lack of a better term. Basically, these characters are automatically level capped at 99, and they can just level all the way. Although, I think they still suffer from poor base stats, depending on what level the mother was. Regardless, these guys are mostly you don't discard them so easily. Everyone else, you kind of have to discard them repeatedly. And the discarding repeatedly thing is something that pisses me off, because I don't really want that. Also, yeah, you can see I've unlocked more stuff in the shop. For Lab and Guild, these are just quest types. Lab is more or less hunt quests, so kill 10 rats, collect 10 bear asses. That's basically what it is. You get rewards for it. Guild, on the other hand, is closer to item trading, where you give them an item and they'll give you multiple of it, give you a different item back. You don't actually upgrade your items or anything, it's just item trading. Comm Station is for multiplayer. I believe the only thing it can do is class manting, where you basically create star children with other people online. Training facility, should I go into training facility or not? Or do labyrinths? Labyrinths and training facility are fairly similar. The difference with labyrinths is that labyrinths are primarily for the story. You can progress through the story. There are also the bonus labyrinths that you can go through as well. Training facility are basically just hard modes of the labyrinths, for lack of a better term. Day camp, this is when you go into a labyrinth to gain XP. You can put your kids in the day camp and they will gain XP while you're in the labyrinth, but then it'll reset. But then it'll just end and you have to take them out of daycare once you leave the labyrinth. Scavenger is send children out after time passes, meaning you go into a labyrinth. Again, everything revolves around the labyrinths here. Once time passes, then they will come back with an item. What else here? Church, I already showed. Oh, enough of that. Let's go into a labyrinth, shall we? Let's go into, Envy, or should I go into one of the challenges? Let's go into the Drowning Sea. I think I horribly overleveled this, but whatever. Let's go in here. Oh, before you go into one of these dungeons, you will get these little anime cutscenes. These don't change, but they play before every single fight anyways. Before every single adventure anyways. Also, for some reason, you show up with a default weapon no matter what, but then immediately afterwards you change to whatever you have equipped. Let's get out of here in case of copyright. Sorry. But yeah, the girl cutscenes do have fan service. Not too important. And then here we go. If this looks familiar to anybody, I'm not surprised, because this looks one hell of a lot like Persona 4. And that's really how it plays like, too. So, first of all, what you do is just run around, you open doors, and you progress through this like it's Persona 4 or Persona 3 dungeon. Just go through here, keep going around. Persona doesn't have these doors, but whatever. Then you can engage in battle by running up to these enemies. There's no attack button or anything. Now, unique combat features.
My turn.
Attack, skill, item, to guard. Nothing special. Tactics, you can change your AI tactics on the fly. Info, in this case, it just gives you the stats of your party as well as whatever the heck you've discovered on these enemies. Now, for weak points, you want to look at the, if you can, top left corner, see the word weak point, and then that diamond right next to it. What that diamond signifies is where on the enemy the weak points are. In this case, it is the left and right of the enemy. Keep an eye on that. So let's go to attack first of all. You can see the red arrow. Also, you can use LNR to change targets, but we'll stick to this bugger. You can see the red arrow. The longest bit is the front. Directly behind, opposite it is the behind, and then there's left and right. So I go off to the side here. I perform an attack. You see it's a weak point, I do extra damage. Now let's take a look at one of these buggers over here. You can see that the weak point is left and behind. So I'm going to attack this guy from the right now. That's left. Oh, it's right. You can use the pad to change. In this case, I got a regular critical. Oops. Let's try that again. Attack from the right. There we go. Son of a... Okay, never mind. Apparently crit rates are really high against low-level monsters. But still, you deal normal damage, but what you also get is the chain mechanic.
Here I go.
Chain mechanic, basically what that does is it will temporarily decrease the speed of the target. If you do the chain mechanic together... sorry. If you build up enough hits with the chain mechanic, then what happens is you will gain extra XP and money from the battle. Now, the way you trigger auto battle is press triangle. And this is what I do most of the time. I've just been slowing it down for the sake of brevity. So let's run around, find another opponent. Chain battle, sorry, not chain battle, auto battle is what you will be doing most of the time because a lot of these battles are really grindy. I'm just going to walk up to this guy and I'm just going to talk over this because, you know, it's auto battle. There is full autoplay as well as just autoplay. In just autoplay, you will gain control over the main characters, whereas in normal autoplay, you will gain power over the human characters, but the Star Children are automated. In full autoplay, everything is automated. There we go. Sort of my thoughts. Otherwise, as you can see here, everyone just kind of bludgeoning them to death. And, of course, they will level up if you give them enough XP. And just wander around. You can find these item containers. The white ones are item containers. These ones are purple. They are occasionally trapped. The traps will do one of two things. They'll either spawn a monster or they will deal damage. These can also be locked. So let's see what this is. Open a immediate trap. What I've noticed, though, is that these trapped ones tend to not be trapped. And when the trap is a monster, you don't really care because it's a monster that gives several times more experience, even though it kind of beats the snot out of you. Like, the trap mechanic is kind of weird. It's just, oh, okay, so I can win because the items in it are better than the normal item containers. I can win because I get a monster that gives me more XP. Or I can not really lose and take 5% HP damage like what happened here. Like, in this case, you can see that that particular tile, if I walk on it, it'll deal damage to me, so just avoid the tile. If you haven't run into it for the first time, though, that just becomes a random event that deals nominal damage to you. Maybe the later game dungeons are going to piss me off and be horrible and difficult and require more grinding, but early on, it's not too bad. But that's just it, isn't it? Grinding. You'll notice that I did say earlier, you are going to abuse the crap out of the auto battle feature. And I wasn't kidding about that. You are going to use the auto battle feature a lot because there's very little combat depth. There is an elemental system, the usual elemental wheel, you know, like water counters fire and all that good stuff. But it basically just boils down to you want to be able to throw the right element at the enemy. And in order to be able to throw the right element at the enemy, what you need to do is you need to make a star child that has the right element, or the damage type, for example, magic, physical, whatnot. And after you've done that, then you've got to grind them up from level 1 all the way up to the level you require for the dungeon. And after you've done that, then you got to take them to the dungeon, and then you use them too much, and then you either have to put them aside for the next dungeon, or you have to discard them, send them into the city, and level up a new guy. Rinse, lather, repeat. That's the problem, isn't it? Also, by the way, those gold-colored ones are the ones that have quest objectives attached. In that case, no matter what, they will all show up. Also, you occasionally get these transmissions, either while walking around or by being in battle. That'll interrupt auto battle, and I've gotten the exact same quote from every single heroine every single time. They don't seem to do anything except for give you bond points on the fly. That's really all it does. Anyways, let's just have these star kids beat the crap out of stuff. Where was I again? Oh well, on to the next point. Next point is tedium. Tedium because these dungeons are really tedious. Like, I've likened this to Tartarus from Persona 3. Why? Because, well, from what I've shown you of this gameplay so far is basically what this entire gameplay is like. Seriously. None of these dungeons seem to be different in terms of gameplay. You've wandered throughout it, you pick up items, you fight enemies, and then later dungeons just require you to go through more floors with higher level enemies. The enemies themselves, they have attacks that are boiled down to, they attack, and then they attack harder. Like, that's all the enemies seem to do. They do have a couple of various conditional, like, they hit certain tiles around them, or hit adjacent tiles or whatnot, but very little of that actually seems to matter, and they all just boil down to the same homogeneous mass. I mean, you can see that those upside down face enemies, those are reskins. So, like, I've seen like 3 different reskins of them so far, and quite a few of these enemies are reskins of each other too.
Is that all you got?
Like, okay, so then what then? Like, elements change, damage types change, defense levels change, weak points change, but they're all the same damn enemy. I mean, eventually, the most recent boss that I fought was marginally interesting because he spawned ads that basically kept exploding and dealt tons of damage. But the earlier bosses are, I deal damage, hit me repeatedly. And I'm just going like, fuck, that's all the gameplay variety? And again, this right here is all the gameplay variety to the labyrinths. The only thing that changes is that battles can become more tedious. Let's just get out of here for now. This is one of the challenge labyrinths, but I just want to show you one other mechanic. Get out of here real quick. One more mechanic I need to show off here real quick before I start giving a verdict. So back into the labyrinths. Let's go into the Lust Lab. First floor. Skip this cutscene. Why does it play every single time? Why isn't there an option to auto-skip it so I don't have to mash X? And that there may seem like a small gripe, but you're going to be doing this so often that you will actually want an option to skip all these cutscenes. Let's get into the Lust Labyrinth. That plays out the same way, and I'm going to skip all the items because they're all crap items. Let's find an enemy this time. Look, enemies! Let's run into them! That's one of the things I actually do like about this game. You can run into enemies that are well below your level and just auto-resolve the battle. That's one of the few things I like. It helps the grinding be less tedious. Grinding. That right there is what this entire game seems to have been built around. What kills the relationship system? Grinding. What makes Star Children less interesting, less attached to the Star Children that you made with your anime waifu? Grinding. What prevents you from progressing through the story quickly? Grinding. Like, this entire game is a grind fest, funnily enough. Even though it says it's an SRPG, strategic battles, all that good stuff, it's a grind fest. It is nothing but a grind fest. It just puts on a lot of airs. And even though I just said that, I'm then going to contradict myself and say, but this isn't a grind fest. It's not supposed to be a grind fest. It's supposed to be a waifu dating simulator. Really, that's a huge chunk of it. The relationship system creates a lot of stuff. Like, for example, you see all the character stories. You get bond points so you can create more Star Children. You use that... You increase their mood to have better Star Children. You bring them into battles, and their stats increase and stuff like that. The waifus are supposed to be a central part of this game. So why did the design end up turning them into a sub-mechanic? Like, that's really what... I'm not even sure if it pisses me off. It just makes me sad. It really just makes me sad because this game could have been a lot more. It really could have. And honestly, all of my complaints boil down to the simple mistake that you can grind everything, including these girls. But beyond that, like time management doesn't exist. Like, Time management doesn't exist. You can get past any difficult enemy by grinding harder. Even when the game doesn't forcibly require you to grind harder, you can brute force past it by having high level Star Children and stuff like that. It's like here's the other thing though. Even though grinding ruins the game, grinding makes the game because, well, apparently the Fort City has a level cap of 100 or maybe it's 99. You have your Star Children that you can grind through, level up, get other attack combinations and stuff. For example, if I go back to the dorm room, again, team info. Let's go over this real quick. If you see the blah blah blah. Nope, this is the wrong menu. Whoops, sorry. Team edit. Edit. Switch. There you go. Go into here. You can see these things at the bottom. Anticipation and the Lancer Trio. Lancer Trio is pretty obvious. It's 3 Lancers in a party. What these do is, these are team skills. So for example, you can see you press triangle on this team skill condition. And what you do is that when you have a male Paladin, female Lancer, and female, what the heck is that, Bondsmith or whatever the hell it's called again, at those levels, then you can activate this passive. Yeah. So you can have all these various special mechanics in your party. And there's a lot of, you saw the list, there's a lot of different Star Children. There's all these various team skills that you can bring up. There's a lot of grindable mechanics. So in terms of a grindfest, there's tons of content here. Getting Star Children to 99, completing side objectives, completing side objective plus, going through new game plus, because there is a new game plus to this, etc, etc. There is so much grindable content in this game, like actually a lot. By contrast, however, there isn't much, well, single pass content in terms of, say, the storyline. You notice I've been through this game for 11 hours, 11 and a half hours now technically. Let's go back to the academy so I can crack open a menu. You can see you can see this relationship circle, I'm just going to call it that, in the top right corner. There are 7 slices, basically corresponding to chapters. What this means is that I'm currently on chapter 6, for lack of a better term. 11 hours in. But a lot of people are reporting that this game will only last you 15 hours for the story mode playthrough. So I'm going to actually say that this game is both too short and too long. Yeah, both too short and too long. Too short in the sense that the story mode really just kind of burns itself out really freaking fast. And on the other hand, it's too long because, A, there are a lot of grind mechanics padding that time. And at the same time, the grind mechanics after the story ends are so damn extensive that you could probably play this for several, like dozens of hours. Like, say, I would at least estimate at 40 hours to get through most of this. Grinding the city to 100, I wouldn't be surprised if that would take 100 hours, personally. And all that other stuff, and you can create more Star Children. I'm pretty damn sure you can put those relationships on farms so you can create more bond points that way, which is actually kind of cheap because, you know, bond points being infinite kind of defeats the point of a limited bond point amount, but whatever. But still, like, there's so much grinding in this game. And I'm not saying it as a bad thing because it's a good grindfest. It has a lot of content there. This will make the purchase cost effective. Like, I'm not really sure what my final point here is. I'm going to TLDR this then. If you were looking for the dating sim SRPG that this game promised... Actually, no, I still can't TLDR this. There's one other point I had to bring up. Again, all my gripes surrounding this game boil down to grinding. But you can actually then say, yes, these grind ruins a lot of the mechanics, but if you ignore the grind, then you have a very competent dating sim, a highly customizable SRPG, admittedly with a really incredibly boring randomized dungeon that is just tedious as fuck, but the battle system itself, at the very least, you have a lot of customization in that regard. You have the customization, you have the personalization, it's all that good stuff. You have a competent dating sim and a competent SRPG melded together. When you remove the broken grinding. which is really interesting because because I'm someone who plays a lot of MMORPGs. I'm someone who plays a lot of grindfest games. So I'm naturally inclined to grinding, and that's where my bias lies. I'm someone who grinds a lot. I spend a lot of time doing mechanical grinding. So I'm naturally inclined to be the person who grinds mechanics. If there's a way to just get past a mechanic by just brute forcing it, then I will do it because I'm someone who falls into that trap. But if you're not someone who falls into that trap, then you can ignore the grind. Which is a very odd way of putting it, but yeah. I think it's valid to say that you can actually ignore the mechanic to enjoy the game more. So, real TLDR, if you're someone who falls into the trap of a grindfest, this is a grindfest game. There are some interesting stories to be had in here, but overall, this is a grindfest game. However, if you are in this for the dating sim, and you don't feel like grinding, if you're not someone who pushes themselves to grind whenever necessary or whenever possible, you will enjoy the dating sim, you will enjoy the SRPG. That makes my recommendation very confusing. You'll have to look at yourself and say, what type of gamer am I? Because of the grindfest crowd and to the dating sim SRPG crowd, your opinions and your experiences are going to be glaringly different. So TLDR to the TLDR, grindfesters will want it for the grindfest, dating simmers will want it for the dating sim, SRPGers will want it for the SRPG, and any combination of the above will default to the grindfest. My name has been VSin, thanks for watching.